Can a max level Torchwood solo the entirety of PvZ2? Okay, I know what a select few of you are thinking. Well, this can't be possible because Torchwood can't deal any damage. And that would mean you haven't played PvZ2 because in this game, Torchwood does deal damage. And then there's the second side of you guys that are thinking, this is too easy because Torchwood is overpowered. I would like to show you this. So, how did I beat him without cheating or bending the rules? Well, keep watching to find out. As usual, let me lay down the rules for this challenge. Rule number 1, no sun producers. Yep, none. Rule number 2, I can only use Torchwood, obviously. Rule number 3, no power-ups or boosts. Rule number 4, skip all levels where we can't use Torchwood or are forced to use other plants such as sun producers on sun production levels. And lastly, rule number 5, pre-placed plants are fine, but I will try to shovel them to the best of my ability. Alright, let's begin the challenge. Ancient Egypt Day 1. It truly cannot be easier than this level, so it was beaten easily. Day 3. The game tries to provide me with sun support and a cabbage pult, but I get rid of them immediately and then afterwards proceed to annihilate this level as well. Days 4, 5, and 6 are skipped, and on day 7 I placed a layer of Torchwoods on the front lines and a layer near the middle to take care of the zombies that come in using the sand tornadoes. And here we already are, the detrimental level teased in the intro, and this just isn't possible. Hold on. Did you see that? Rewind the footage. Right there. Okay, let me try to guess why I think this happens. A normal zombie is dependent on their eating, but a torchlight zombie doesn't eat. It just burns with a torch. The torch and the zombie itself are coded to be two different entities, and that's why the Torchwood can damage it while not taking any damage. Okay, now back to the game. So on day 8, it took 3 Torchwoods each just to take care of a single zombie, which was enough for now because the lawnmowers assisted with the lingering ones. On day 9, this happened. Yup, 1 Torchwood got 2 hits off, which reduces the number of Torchwoods needed to kill the Torchlight zombie from 3 to 2. Day 10 thankfully had no Torchlight zombies and it was a breeze. On day 12, we saw a couple of coffin zombies, but those were also no match for the wall of Torchwoods. Oh yeah, I should probably show you all the stats of the level 10 Torchwoods. They have 3,350 health, deal 100 damage when attacking, and their damage animation does an extra 900 damage. Basically, it's a walnut, jalapeno, and durian hybrid. And remember, these are just its extra attributes. A Torchwood's main goal is supposed to be boosting pea shooters. Day 13, we couldn't plant on these things. Yeah, it was a pretty easy level. Day 14 was a normal level with nothing scary. Day 15, we have to protect these sunflowers, which was very easy because they also produce us extra sun. Day 16, the Torchlight zombies returned, but there weren't too many, so we took care of them. Day 17, the game hit us with back-to-back Torchlight zombies, so I let them be and had the lawnmowers take care of the rest of the level. Day 18 is my favorite type of level because I get to do this. Pretty cool, ain't it? Day 19 was a very pivotal level in this run because this happened. Yup, we found out that a single Torchwood is enough to kill a Torchlight if placed perfectly. And here it is, the most diabolical level of Ancient Egypt, Day 20. The game decided to send out simultaneous Torchlights at multiple different times on this level, and I had to defend these sunflowers from them. The cooldown was very obnoxious this level, and for some reason I couldn't get my Torchwoods to get 3 hits off at the most important times. So let's just say I ended up dying too many times, but I was eventually able to time the Torchwoods correctly and beat Day 20. Day 21, the game was lenient and gave us an easy level. Day 22, we could only place 18 plants, but that was more than enough to beat the level. Day 23, we lost a couple lawnmowers to Torchlights, but also decimated this Gargantuar. Day 24, the last level we play in Ancient Egypt, was a prepare your defenses level. And that ends off Ancient Egypt. And now, on to Pirate Seas. Pirate Seas gives us a lot more freedom in choosing our plant, which allows us to skip a lot less levels. Day 1 was very simple as I just spawn camped all the pirate zombies, including the swinging ones. On day 2, we torched some zombie birds because unlike the real world, birds actually do exist in the PvZ world. Days 3 and 4 were quickly obliterated. Day 5, the bucketheads showed some endurance, but not enough. Day 6 had a lot of airborne enemies who could survive if they just flew over, but their greed became their downfall. Day 7 introduces the Pirate Sea's insta-kill zombie Barrel Roller, but he is much easier than Torchlight because he doesn't cancel out the Torchwood's death rattle. Day 9 was a simple level with no challenge. Day 10 we first see imp cannons who aren't much of a problem either. Day 11 I placed a layer of Torchwoods 2 behind the normal layer because the cannons shot further than expected. Day 14 was a prepare your defenses level. Day 15 they tried to give me a 3-peater, but I scooped it up and protected the flowers with honor. On day 16 I initially panicked, but it turned out to be pretty easy by placing a Torchwood in front of the spring beans. Day 17 was simple, and then day 22, oh man, day 22, it just tingles my brain. Day 23 we had to protect some more flowers, but it's really easy because you can just place the Torchwood on top of the flowers. Day 24, the last level of Pirate Seas, was probably the most challenging, since I can't really protect these spring beans with Torchwoods, so I actually had to rely on the spring bean itself and its atrocious plant food, but it worked out in the end. And next up is the Wild West. On Wild West days 1, 2, 3, and 5, I vanquished a lot of cowboys as I simultaneously ignored all the minecarts. Day 6 was a prepare your defenses level. We also see the insta-kill piano zombies who, similar to the barrel rollers, don't get rid of the Torchwood's death rattle, making it a very easy zombie to deal with. We beat day 7 very swiftly. Day 10 we saw some chickens, which had me a little worried, but we violently torched them, as they deserve. Day 11, the challenge was that we could only spend 500 sun in total, and we beat it using only 250 sun. Day 13, we started seeing the old Dynamite Head, who never got a chance to blast off. Day 14, I didn't know what to say, so I guess I'll just take the time to say if you guys are enjoying it so far, please subscribe. Day 15, we could only lose 2 plants in total, so I decided to finally make use of the minecarts. The piano zombies this level were a little annoying, so we lost 2 lawnmowers, but plant fooding the Torchwoods kept them alive and healthy, allowing us to beat the level. Day 16, we were tasked to protect this singular walnut, and I didn't let the zombies get past even the first tile. Day 17 we protected some flowers from being trampled on, and day 18 we prepped some defenses. Wild West Day 19 was one of the only levels in this world that took some strategy, with us only being allowed to lose 2 plants. The strategy was that I placed Torchwoods in this lane, and as they gradually got damaged, I would place another Torchwood in front of them as protection, and just repeated that until the level was complete. Day 21, we could only spend 1750 sun, and we beat it with only 500. I don't think it's even possible to produce 1750 sun without any sun producers. Day 23, I actually lost on my first attempt because I lost track of how much damage a certain Torchwood had endured, but on the second attempt, I launched a lawnmower to get rid of a piano zombie, which made the level much easier. The last level of Wild West, Day 24. We protected these 3 gentleman-looking walnuts and were terrorized by the long range of mechanical bulls, but in the end conquered this world as well. Next up, Frostbite Caves. Okay, so Frostbite Caves exists so that Torchwood can prosper. The whole challenge of Frostbite Caves is the icy winds and zombies that freeze your plants, but in Torchwood's case, it is one of the fire plants that melts the snow, making this world's challenge useless. Day 1 of course starts with the beginner zombies, and we take care of them pretty easily. Day 2 provides us with a hot potato as well as repeaters and walnuts, but we make use of none of them and blockade the zombies in the first 2 lanes. Day 4 we see the snowball throwing zombies whose existence becomes pointless in the face of Torchwood. Day 6 we are given sunflowers that we could use, but nah. Day 7 introduces snowstorms, similar to the sandstorms in ancient Egypt, with similar difficulty as well. Day 9 is also a normal level with no specific challenge, and there are many of these types of levels. Day 11 is one of my favorite levels layout wise because it funnels all zombies to one lane, but we don't really use that this time. Day 12 was a prepare your defenses level. Day 13, we protected some sunflowers and dealt with the most annoying gargantuar so far because it takes 4 Torchwoods just to kill them. Day 15, we protected 2 pepper poults. Day 17, 3 fume shrooms melted and got scooped up instantly by me while the 2 charred guards stayed frozen solid, probably for the rest of eternity. Day 19, I forgot to shovel up 2 twin sunflowers, but I promise they didn't change the outcome at all. Day 20, we got the chance to torch some caveman zombies. Day 22 had 3 guacodiles frozen solid, which now that I'm thinking about it, is a little odd. Day 23 placed these chart guards here, but then also threw some snowstorms onto them. Sneaky, but not sneaky enough. Alright, this game just has the most random frozen plants, with 2 sunshrooms in the back of day 26. Day 27, we protect some rutabagas, and they help us in return. Day 28 is the last day, so y'all know we gotta end it off with one of these. Next up, Lost City. On day 1 of Lost City, we are of course introduced to the gold leaf tiles, which produce sun, so we make use of them to destroy the simplest of this world's zombies. On day 2, we see the spider-like zombies that hang from the heavens, and are kinda annoying because they force me to place Torchwoods towards the back of the level. Day 4 has a pre-placed walnut, but it is left alone for eye candy purposes. On day 4, we are also introduced to the worst zombie of Lost City, the shovel zombie. Torchwood can't even get a hit off on him unless placed on top of him. But there is a spot, if you precisely place Torchwood onto the zombie accumulates and forgets how to shovel. On day 6, we make use of all 5 gold tiles and end the level with 2,200 sun. On day 7, we are introduced to the umbrella zombie, who doesn't do much on her own against Torchwood, but whoever created these Lost City levels really loved to pair up the umbrella zombie with the shovel zombie, which in turn makes her annoying, but still flammable. Day 10, the heaven spiders caught me off guard again in the beginning of the level, but after I accommodated for them, level 10 was beat easily. Day 11, you'll see me using the strategy of placing the Torchwoods right up front, and the main reason for this was to make the levels go as fast as possible, but you'll start to see in the upcoming worlds that this strategy becomes a lot less doable. On day 15, we are tasked to protect these 2 Aki, and truly the only zombie that would be able to get even close to them is the umbrella zombie, but for some reason the game doesn't send any into their lanes, so day 15 was pretty easy. Day 17, we first see the tent carrying imp, and at first it seems like GG's, because how is the Torchwood meant to ever hit this? But Torchwood's death rattle comes in clutch as the tent spawns infinite zombies, so the Torchwood ends up dying and taking the tent out with it. Day 19, I made sure no tents reached the gold tiles, and oh yeah, the dragonfly zombie was introduced at some point, but posed 0 threat to Torchwood, so I forgot to mention it. Day 23, we see Indiana Jones and the Gargantuar of Lost City, and you might be surprised to find out that Indiana Jones was much more difficult than the Gargantuar. Day 24, we had to protect some flowers, and there was a really close call with this Indiana Jones, and the shovel zombie, but we ended up winning. On day 26, we were given only 1 gold tile, but there was no special task and no surprises, so it ended up being pretty simple. On day 27, the turquoise skull zombie is introduced, and he kamehameha'd half of my battalion, and almost overwhelmed my Torchwoods, but they countered with a few Yamcha specials and pushed through. On day 30, the last level of Lost City, there was 3 columns of mold colonies, who actually made me lose 2 lawnmowers, but we still ended up beating the level. And next up, the Far Future. As any other day 1, Far Futures was also very easy, kinda just a basic intro to the world. Day 2, we briefly see the big shield robot thing, who didn't stand a chance against Torchwood. Day 3, Far Future has its own heaven spiders in the form of imps, who also catch me off guard but then are destroyed. Day 4 has purple explosive sun dropping, which in the long term produces us more sun, so this special task is actually helpful in this challenge. Day 5, we see some Robocone imps, who are extremely tanky and actually take out a few Torchwoods, but there weren't enough of them to overpower us. Day 7, I will show you the jetpack zombies, whose flight doesn't help them at all because Torchwood has hacks. Day 9, we can only have 15 plants in total, and we beat it with only 10 Torchwood. On day 10, we are weirdly approached by the dancing robots, but we decline and incinerate them in return. Day 11 is our first prepare your defenses of this video. Day 12, we see our first laser shooting Gargantuars, who are probably overall my favorite Gargantuars in the entire game. So, day 13 had something unexpected, the football pusher zombies. I actually couldn't find a way to reliably kill these guys, so I was heavily dependent on lawnmowers and prayers whenever these guys decided to show up. This level particularly only sent 3, but they were all in different lanes, so the lawnmowers took care of them this time. Day 14, we could spend 1500 sun, and we only spent 550. Day 15, we were tasked to protect these 3 Citron, who truly don't need any protecting because they are crazy powerful just by themselves. Day 19 was a sun bomb level, which are the easiest levels of this world because they give us a surplus of sun. Day 22, defenses were prepped. And we launched a lawnmower for safety precautions. Day 23, we had a sun limit and a number of plants limit, but neither were enough to stop us from conquering the future. Day 24, the last level of Far Future. I somehow lost the footage, so I'll explain in pictures how it went. It was a sun bomb level, a few football pushy zombies were sent, sun bombs fell over the zombies, I pressed the purple sun bombs to make the zombies go boom, and yeah, that was it. Okay, next up, the dreaded Dark Ages. As everyone predicted, this is the farthest a non-sun producing plant can make it because there isn't any sun dropped in this world. So I could just call it a day and end the challenge here, but that's boring. So I'll be supplementing sun using a level 1 sun bloom because at Hope My Dream Come True explained in the comments that a level 1 sun bloom produces sun at the same rate as sun falls from the sky in the other worlds. The only rule is that I can't use plant food to recharge the sun bloom, which makes sense. I promise this world was the most challenging so far, even with me bending the rules a little bit. So let's see how it went. Night 1 of Dark Ages, it was all the basic zombies, but I was definitely noticing the number of them had drastically increased compared to the previous worlds. Night 2 absolutely just spammed bucket heads, but it wasn't too challenging yet. Night 3, I realized how annoying the gravestones were going to be because they kept launching my Torchwoods towards the back, and the only way I could destroy them was by the Torchwoods dying. Night 5, we see the treacherous jesters who pose no threat to Torchwood. Night 6 was a prepare your defenses level. Night 7, I massacred some senile imps. Night 9 added the feature of potion buffs for the zombies, which the buffing itself wasn't that big of a deal, but the fact that they blocked the space, not allowing me to place Torchwoods, was the worst. Night 11 introduced the most annoying zombie so far, the wizard zombie. Their annoyance wasn't portrayed too much this level, but you will see in the upcoming levels the way that they were making me mauled. Night 15 was a prepare your defenses level. And this was what I was talking about. Multiple wizards team up and just godify the entire map. I actually got pretty lucky this level that a couple Torchwoods died perfectly to counteract the mess that was created in this level, but otherwise I would have been here forever. On night 16, there was a really close call, actually, 2 really close calls, and also the king just commits self-beheading if he's the last zombie left of the level. Night 17, I was starting to tweak out a little bit because of these 3 wizards. I would place a Torchwood and it would get instantly godified, so I lost twice, but was much more successful on my 3rd attempt. Night 19 of Dark Ages probably had the coolest technique to winning. We had to use the wizard's ability to force them to godify the magnet shrooms so that the zombies would just walk past them without killing them. And although there were some close calls, the Torchwoods were able to handle business. And here we are, what everyone's been waiting for. Night 20, where the dragon imps lie. So, yeah, they only appear on the boss stage, in which I can't bring Torchwood, but don't get too sad because he actually appears in modern day on 5 different levels, so if we end up making it that far, we'll see him then. But for now, on to Neon Mixtape Tour. Day 1, we finally freed ourselves from the sun bloom and went back to all natural sky sun and decimated some dancing zombies. On day 2, we faced a mohawk kicking zombie, who in my opinion is the worst one of this world, and they introduced it so early. It takes Torchwood 3 lanes just to kill one, and of course on day 4 the game just spams these guys with us barely scraping by. Day 5 was where the mohawks got really annoying. They kept on super kicking my walnuts into the stratosphere. It made me lose literally 4 times, doing the exact same thing every single time. But on the 5th attempt, I got my strategy together and I beat the level. Day 7, we see the rainbow skaters who make everything behind them invincible, and paired with the mohawks, there was a lot of lost lawnmowers, but we kept our brains intact. Day 8, look at this bruh, like what do I even do here? Other than just let the lawnmowers take care of them. On day 12, we see the microphone whippers who 2-shot the Torchwoods, which was crazy. And we also saw the Gargantua of this level, who's pretty easy to deal with. Day 13 was a prepare your defenses level. On day 15, I think my brain was fried and I kept losing track of the zombies and they kept eating my fat beats, and it took me 3 attempts to beat it. On day 17, we see the dancing tornado lady who kicks forward zombies a couple lanes, but she was pretty easy to deal with herself. On day 18, we lost a lawnmower, but otherwise it was a pretty simple level. Day 20 was also nothing special. Day 21, we had to protect these flowers, and the Gargantuars throwing the imps was a little scary, but overall harmless. Day 23, we are introduced to the arcade machine zombies, who insta-kill the Torchwoods, which in a way was actually good for us, because it made sure that the Mohawk zombies wouldn't get too far. Day 24, defenses were prepped. Day 25 got a little scary towards the end, but the lawnmowers assured our victory. Day 26 was a little weird because we had to protect these guys. That's what I originally tried to do and died 3 times. So on the 4th attempt, I allowed the Mohawk kickers to kick them back to give me some more space to work with, but then this happened. But on the 5th attempt, we were able to work around even this to beat day 26. Day 29 was one of the easier levels with no special challenge to overcome, and the last level of Neon Mixtape Tour, day 30. The special challenge was that I couldn't have more than 15 plants on the screen, which we've seen in the past as one of the easier challenges. On day 1 of Jurassic Marsh, I could tell things were getting serious because they sent bucketheads and skullheads. And this was only the first level. On day 2, we are introduced to the Blue Raptor, who kicks forward zombies ahead a few lanes, and it was unexpectedly very easy to deal with. I just remember it being much more difficult in the past times I'd collided heads with them. Day 4 throws a Blue Raptor at us right off the bat, and I'm forced to place the Torchwood a little farther back, but otherwise the level was pretty simple. At the start of day 5, I accommodated for the Raptors and placed the Torchwoods 3 lanes from the back. But right when I saw the opportunity, I placed a column of Torchwoods in the very front lanes and just spawn camped the zombies, because up there, the Raptors aren't even able to connect with them. On day 6, we first see the Stegosaurus, who similar to the Raptor, launches zombies forward, but the difference is that the Stego launches them farther, and sometimes into different lanes. But planting the Torchwoods 3 lanes from the back was still a good strategy against the Stego. Day 8 didn't have anything too special, just a bunch of tanky zombies who were incinerated. Day 10 had 3 flags and also introduced a pterodactyl, who picks up zombies and drops them off in the last column to eat your plants from behind. But against Torchwoods, this dinosaur is the most useless of the bunch. On day 11, we first torched 3 baby imps and then torched everything else because the game thought it was a good idea to spam useless pterodactyls. Day 12 was a little scary at first glance, because we were only allowed to lose 6 plants in total. So I used the same strategy we used in Wild West, where I placed the Torchwoods way in the back, and as they get more and more damaged, I placed another Torchwood in front, which was working pretty well until this guy showed up. Thankfully, we still had 4 plants that we could lose, so we ended up beating the level. On day 13, we spawn camped some more zombies. Day 15, we were tasked to protect these 2 primal walnuts, who I overprotected with 4 Torchwoods each, which ensured their capability to stay alive. And lastly, we destroyed this Gargantuar. Day 17 didn't add anything new, so like usual, we flamed some prehistoric zombies. Day 18, we are introduced to the T-Rex. The T-Rex makes the zombies go super speed until they run into a plant. And since there's always at least 1 Torchwood in every lane, the zombie puff just made the levels go by faster instead of posing an actual threat. On day 21, we are introduced to the caveman zombie, who I expected to take out at least 1 Torchwood with it, but surprisingly they weren't strong enough and we beat the level. Day 22 is our first prepare your defense of Jurassic Marsh. Day 23 didn't have a special challenge and instead just threw a bunch of tanky zombies at the Torchwoods, who dealt with them with excellent efficiency. Day 24 was almost identical to day 23, where the zombies with the same useless dinos were thrown at us. Day 25, we are introduced to the Ankylosaurus, which was the most challenging dino of this world. And I say that with hesitation because it wasn't very challenging, just more than the others. The Anky uses its tail to launch the zombie at the closest plant, and in turn knocks the plant back 1 lane, so like a super raptor. Also, it's a great metal farmer for any Ark survival fans. On day 26, there were 2 columns of mold colonies, which overall didn't affect anything, so this level was pretty easy. Day 27, I prepped some defenses. Day 28, the game was just trying its best and threw everything at the Torchwoods, and they still beat the level. Day 30, the final level of Jurassic Marsh, didn't contain any special challenges or any difficulty, but it did have this funny looking Gargantuar. That ends off the Jurassic Marsh, and now on to big weight. First, we'll visit Modern Day. Okay, so Modern Day was definitely the most fun world of this challenge. It felt like a perfect balance between challenge and enjoyment. I didn't really know what to expect in any level because it was just a mix of everything, which made for some scary situations and some big brain solutions. On day 1, we saw the basic zombies as well as some pirates, and also this guy. Yep, on day 1, we were sent this guy. but the lawnmower took care of it this time. Day 2 starts with some Egypt zombies and shows us our very first nemesis from Egypt, the Explorer zombie, which I still remember the strategy to beating, but this level also threw at us the Octo zombie. We outmaneuvered it this time by placing a Torchwood behind it, forcing their Gargantuar at the same location to kill it and proc its death rattle, taking out the Octo zombie. And then we just had to face the 2 more Explorer zombies who, one I was able to kill with Torchwood, but the other one had to be taken out by a lawnmower. Day 4 starts with a few imps and a regular conehead, and next up the invincible roller skater. But after, and I was not expecting it so soon, the game sent the Dragon Imp. And you wouldn't believe it, they didn't just send 1 Dragon Imp, or even 2, but 7. Yeah, it was starting to look pretty bad, and some of you might be wondering, how am I supposed to beat these guys? And the answer is the lawnmowers. I have to stall out the level until the last flag, just in case there is another Dragon Imp sent, and then let the lawnmowers handle everything else. Which is exactly what I did to beat this level. It's crazy to think that a tiny imp like this is theoretically the biggest problem in this challenge. On day 5, we again start the level with some basic imps. Seems like the developers love to send these first, but then we saw one of the more important zombies of modern day, the newspaper zombie, who can take out a whole level 10 Torchwood just by itself. And the newspaper zombie isn't important this level, but just keep the fact that he can solo a Torchwood by himself in the back of your mind. The rest of day 5 was pretty simple, though it is annoying that the Neon Mixtape Tour zombies are always dancing. Day 7, again with the imps, and then infinite Octo zombies. And the main problem is this 4th lane, in which 3 Octo zombies are sent and 1 lawnmower can't be timed to beat all of them. So I ended up losing twice. But then it clicked in my mind, that newspaper zombie from the previous level. There is a newspaper zombie sent behind the first Octo zombie, so I just had to catch him before he got in front of the Octo zombie, which in return would result in that Torchwood dying and proccing its death rattle, killing the Octo zombie, which was exactly what was needed to beat day 7. Day 10 had some power tiles and included zombies from both the Far Future levels and the Frostbite Cave levels. The only potential challenge of this level shows up on the 3rd flag, and it's the football pushy zombie. But thankfully the disco bot that was a couple columns ahead of it destroyed one of the Torchwoods, which in turn did massive damage to the pushy zombie, and I was able to kill it off using the Explorer zombie strategy. Day 11 is the level that shows the true terror of the pushy zombie. In the bottom lane, one is sent towards the beginning of the level, and it is dealt with using the lawnmower. But on the final flag, a second one is sent on that same lane, and I panicked. But I still had a little hope, so I tested out how many hits were possible per Torchwood, and it was 2. I was timing it perfectly to where every Torchwood got off 2 hits, and sadly 18 total hits still wasn't enough to beat it. Then I had another idea. Why not just stall it and quickly purge every other zombie so that the second one comes in by the time the first one reaches the lawnmower? And thankfully, the strategy worked. Day 12 posed a whole nother challenge. We were allowed to lose 10 plants, which is pretty fair, but then the game sends this guy at the very beginning of the level. So on the first attempt, I allowed the lawnmower to take care of it, but then they sent another one in the same lane. So even though I was about to lose, I used the opportunity to see all the other zombies that the level contained to build my strategy for the next attempt. So on the last attempt, I stalled the first Dragon Imp until the second wave of them came in, and after they were vanquished, the rest of the level was pretty easy, and we ended the level with 3 plants still allowed. Day 15 is skipped, but I thought that I should still mention it because it goes under rule number 4 because the game pulls this stunt off, technically forcing the use of a different plant because it's impossible for Torchwood to hit these zombies. On day 17, we first see the balloon zombies whose balloon pops after going over the first Torchwood, and then the second Torchwood is the one that kills them. Day 17 also had many insta-kill zombies, which is a good thing for Torchwood, so it ended up being a pretty easy level compared to the previous levels. Day 18 sent a bunch of balloons, surfers, and cowboys, and all were destroyed. Day 20, we were given some gold tiles, and I made use of them to pretty easily beat this level as well. The only annoying thing was the Mohawk zombies. Day 21 introduces the All-Star, who's pretty panic-inducing because of the speed they come in at. Put up against Torchwood, they both evenly trade their lives. There were many high damage dealing zombies this level, so not many Torchwood survived, but we made it through the level. Day 23 had a few Octo zombies that I was able to stall out until the last wave, and some lanes I could defend, but the other 3 were up to the lawnmowers. Day 24, we are introduced to the Imp Punt of PvZ2, which I personally think is a pretty cool mechanic. Day 26, we saw many disco zombies, as well as a few Gargantuars from Neon Mixtape Tour. but they were pretty easy to deal with. Day 29, the game sends a Dragon Imp in the top lane right after the start, so we are once again forced to stall it out until every wave comes out, which included a few more Dragon Imps, but the lawnmowers were able to handle them. Day 30, we had to protect these flowers from being trampled, which was frightening at first because of the all-star zombies and all the high damage dealers, but it ended up being pretty easy as I just spammed the Torchwoods as soon as they recharged. Day 31 is the last day of modern day, and it consisted of 3 redirection pads and some explorer zombies, which aren't too big of a challenge anymore, so we swiftly beat this level. And next up, Big Wave Beach. Contrasting to modern day, Big Wave Beach was the most boring and unfun world of the whole challenge. Since I couldn't plant in the water, I was forced to wait for all the zombies to reach my Torchwood, which made all the levels last so much longer than usual. On day 1, I charged through the level as the basic zombies of the world were sent, out posing no threat. The exact same thing occurred on day 2, and on day 4, and day 6. Day 9 seemed like it would be a little challenging since we only had one lane to work with, but it was also long, boring, and simple. Day 11 had the surfer zombies, who made the levels go by a little faster by insta-killing the Torchwoods, which in turn killed the other zombies faster. Day 12 was a prepare your defenses level. Day 15 should be skipped according to the rules, but I thought that I should play it and allow myself lily pads just for this level, and I was able to beat it. Day 17 was the first level of Big Wave Beach with octo zombies, but they were set in different lanes, so the lawnmowers took care of them. Day 19 was very similar to Day 17 as it only sent 2 octo zombies who I tried to kill naturally but failed, so again was dependent on the lawnmowers. Day 22 introduced the Fisherman Zombie, who is equivalent to Octo Zombie in annoyance. I was able to stall out 22 and let the lawnmowers beat the remaining zombies. Day 23 felt like a release from the pain, because I was able to use another plant to attack and strategize. Day 25, the special challenges were pretty easy, but I died one time to Octo Zombies, but then was able to use a Surfer Zombie to my advantage to beat it on the second attempt. Day 28 at first felt impossible because we were only allowed to lose 5 plants, which we usually lose a lot more than that per level. But towards the end of the first attempt, this was the only threatening zombie, so I actually started to feel possible. And after 3 more failed attempts, we barely beat this level, as the last fisherman zombie committed self-dying. Day 30 of Big Wave Beach is technically the last level of this challenge, and you're not gonna believe it. It is the only level that takes us and the Torchwood Empire down. Crazy, isn't it? The very last level is the one that does it. I guess I should show you why it's not possible, and the main reason is that the rate at which the fisherman zombies hook the Torchwoods is too fast for the amount of sun that is produced, and how fast Torchwoods recharge. And though it's the fisherman that made me lose, I would have to say the Octo Zombie was my least favorite zombie of this entire challenge, and I assure you that I will get my revenge. Okay, bye bye.